Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I wanted to update you guys on some things related to the channel. First of all, make sure to join the Discord if you haven't already. The link is in the description below this live stream. Again, the description or the link to the Discord is in the description below this live if you have not already joined. We'll probably do some shout outs for some people that joined the Discord today live on the stream later on. I also wanted to let you guys know that we're doing a new segment on this show. I'm going to try to do it every show, especially if we're talking about contentious topics, or we have been talking about contentious topics throughout the week, where at the end, I go on Discord and I join a stage and I allow people who disagree with me to publicly challenge me live on the air. I don't think there are a lot of shows that do that. I don't think there are a lot of people that do that. I'm very transparent, and in the name and spirit of transparency, every time I go live, assuming I'm talking about some contentious topic and I'm in studio, I will join the Discord at the end and allow people to come challenge me. I also wanted to let you guys know that if you would like to send tips to me, my email is linked on my YouTube channel in my description, in my YouTube bio. It's also in the bio of, I think, all of my social media platforms. And I just posted my Signal on Twitter the other day. I think it was yesterday. So just scroll back a little bit. If you're looking for a more encrypted way of contacting me with a tip, you can send it there. Also, if you think I should travel somewhere, if you have a tip in that regard, if you know of a big protest that's upcoming or something major that I should travel for, let me know. Anybody can contact me, and I do read them. So without further ado, we're gonna get into the show for today. We got something today that's actually right up my alley. A congresswoman is claiming, and allegedly falsely, that ICE pepper sprayed her directly in her face. Let's take a look. So this is Representative Adelita Grijalva. Adelita Grijalva. She says, ICE just conducted a raid by Taco Giro in Tucson, a small mom-and-pop shop restaurant that has served our communities for years. When I presented myself as a member of Congress asking for more information, I was pushed aside and pepper sprayed. Now, let's be very clear. You don't have more of a right to obstruct a federal investigation and federal law enforcement action because you are a member of Congress. You are a civilian. You are not law enforcement. You don't have a right to intervene with law enforcement action just because you sit in Congress. It doesn't grant you rights above that of a normal and typical citizen of the United States when you are acting outside of your role as a congresswoman. You're not in the House of Representatives at this time, and therefore you are just a normal person. Let's take a look at what she has to say.
Hi, it's Adelita Grijalva. We just came up on a community that was protecting their people. We had, I would say, maybe 40 ICE agents, most of them masked, in several vehicles that the community had stopped right here, right in the middle of the street, because they were afraid that they were taking people without due process, without any kind of notice. And so I was here. This is like the restaurant I come to literally once a week, and was sprayed in the face by a very aggressive agent, pushed around by a...
Okay, so this is interesting. Somebody in the comment section said, so ICE has the right to pepper spray normal citizens? I never said that, but it depends. It actually does depend, right? Because if you're actively impeding and obstructing federal law enforcement action, then absolutely they have the right to use force against you to prevent you from doing that. 1,000%. Okay, but what's interesting is you just heard her say, they pepper sprayed me right in my face. She, without laughing at herself, said, ICE agents just pepper sprayed me in my face. Now let's just take a look at some things here, because I actually got pepper sprayed like 2 weeks ago in Dearborn, and this is what I looked like after I got pepper sprayed. This is directly after getting pepper sprayed. Okay. This is a guy in Seattle who attacked me. This is after I pepper sprayed him. And both of those instances, I and this guy were both pepper sprayed with like little tiny personal use pepper spray cans. Let's see. We'll read super chats at the end. BP, if you could grab them for me or one of the other mods, and send them to me on Discord so I can read them at the end. Like these are the little pepper spray cans that these people are being sprayed with. Like these little tiny little one-time use. Even these ones are a little bit big. These little tiny one-time use keychain pepper spray things. That's what I got sprayed with in Dearborn, and that's what I sprayed my attacker with. It was actually a can that looked just like this one. It's literally like this big. It's a little tiny thing, this big. Okay, it has a low volume of capsaicin. It's not the strong stuff. Okay, but what she's alleging that she got sprayed with were like the big law enforcement use cans that have a high concentration of OC in capsaicin. I'll show you here. Here we can use the frog example. Like, see this? This is the kind of can she's claiming she got sprayed with. This big blue and black OC spray canister. That's what she's claiming she got sprayed with. Look at it's. By the way, you'd see it on her face. It's orange. It's bright orange. Her face would be painted, and it irritates the hell out of your face and your skin. When you get hit with this stuff, your skin burns for days. But let's check it out. I mean, she claims she just got hit. I don't see any sign of her getting hit with something like that. And furthermore, those big cans, like this is what happened when I got hit with bear spray, which is more similar to what she would have been hit with if she was sprayed in the house. This is my body camera, my POV.
No, you're not gonna do shit. Are you okay?
Like you can just hear the pain, right? But for whatever reason, Miss Adelita here, just there's not a sign of pain on her face. I mean, it just looks like any other day in the neighborhood for her. Her skin's not irritated. Her eyes aren't red. Nothing's wrong with her. I mean, check this out. This was me an hour and a half after getting bear sprayed. An hour and a half to 2 hours later, this is what I looked like. Look at my eyes. Okay? You guys saw what I looked like after I got just regular pepper sprayed in Dearborn. I was out for 5 hours later that day. And the whole day, my eyes were bloodshot. It's difficult to see. You have to squint everywhere because the light hurts your eyes. This woman wasn't pepper sprayed. She wasn't hit with anything. Again, look at her. Look at the difference. Wrong thing. Wrong thing again. Wrong thing again. Wrong thing again. Where is she? Right here. Look at the difference. She wasn't pepper sprayed. Okay? She wasn't hit with anything. Tricia McLaughlin, who is the Assistant Secretary at the Department of Homeland Security, tweeted this. And Tricia McLaughlin has been all over this. She's been all over these fraudulent cases of people being abused by ICE. If her claims were true, this would be a medical marvel. Exactly what I said. But they're not true. She wasn't pepper sprayed. She was in the vicinity of someone who was pepper sprayed as they were obstructing and assaulting law enforcement. In fact, 2 law enforcement officers were seriously injured by this mob that the representative joined. Presenting oneself as a member of Congress doesn't give you the right to obstruct law enforcement. More information forthcoming. Now, what's funny is the actual video of this incident has now been released. She's actually posted it herself now, and she's changed her story. So, let's check it out.
Watch out.
So look, here she is in a mob of people actively impeding federal law enforcement. No, you see this right here? This is the exact can I showed you earlier. The exact can. Let's see if we can just zoom in on it. Well, let me zoom in. Oh, there we go. See, exact can I showed you earlier.
Watch out.
Person next to her gets sprayed, or a couple people.
Watch out.
Look at him. I mean, this guy is just, you know, somebody, actually not even that close to her gets sprayed. Oh, there she is. She looks totally fine to me. Here she is. Now she's back to yelling obnoxiously at law enforcement.
Hey, put it down.
She's clapping at them. There's the guy with the mace walking away. She never got hit. Here she is continuing to obnoxiously scream at federal law enforcement agents, and by the way, obstruct them because there's cars. These are federal law enforcement vehicles attempting to get through. She's actively obstructing them. There's the law enforcement vehicle right there. She is actively standing in the street and blocking. You guys need to calm down. You guys need to calm down. As you're with the violent mob that's obstructing a public roadway to prevent federal agents from enforcing the law.
You need to get out. You need to get out.
You need to get out of the street. They're shooting pepper balls.
Get out of the way.
Oh, there he is with the mace again. He has the mace in his hand. He says, "Go away."
Stop. You guys need to clear now.
Nothing happens. He says, "You guys need to clear now." Let me make sure. Okay, so. Oh, there's a pepper ball at her feet. Remember, she said she got sprayed by mace in her face. That's a pepper ball exploding on the ground by her feet. She never got hit. Okay. So she decided to change up her story and go ahead and tweet about this. Here she is. If federal agents are brazen enough to fire pellets directly at a member of Congress, imagine how they behave when encountering defenseless members of our community. It's time for Congress to rein in this rogue agency now. I'm sorry, ma'am, but you don't look like a member of Congress. Okay? They have... Are you wearing, a stamp that says, "I'm in Congress" on your forehead? Or what's going on here? What they see right now is a large woman obstructing a large portion of a public roadway as federal agents attempt to move through that roadway and enforce federal law. And here you are obstructing it. Here you are marching towards federal agents in the middle of a violent mob. And they shoot a little pepper ball at your foot. You know how many times I've been hit with pepper balls? Cry me a river. Okay? Grow up. You're choosing to be out here. You're choosing to march towards federal agents in an already hostile situation. And you're lucky you just got a pepper ball at the foot. Like, I mean, let's be honest. You're lucky all they did was shoot a pepper ball at your foot. Let's be totally honest. This is ridiculous. And now she's admitted that she's lying. She's not talking about getting mace in the face anymore. They would dare to shoot a pepper ball at my foot, and I'm a member of Congress. Oh my God, this is terrible. What are they doing when we're not looking? They had no idea you were a member of Congress. I'm sorry. They had no clue you were a member of Congress. You probably just sounded like every other moron who goes out in the streets and does this, and appears to be, many of them appear to be somewhat paranoid schizophrenic. That's the state, and this just speaks to the state of our Congress as well. I mean, how did this woman get elected? She's obviously not very bright. There was a U.S. citizen detained by CBP. By the way, not ICE, Customs and Border Patrol. A lot of people get them mixed up. So let's check this out. CBS News reports a U.S. citizen was forcibly removed from her car by federal agents in Key Largo, Florida on Wednesday after she refused to present her driver's license and rolled down her window when stopped by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. She was placed in a patrol vehicle while agents searched her car, located her driver's license, and confirmed that she was a U.S. citizen. She was then released. Let's check out the video. Actively resisting. Why is she screaming at? Like she was screaming before they even touched her. Maybe I'm just an old soul, but here's an idea. If you get stopped by Customs and Border Patrol and they say, "Can we see your ID, please?" Maybe just give them your ID. I mean, she has an ID. That's the worst part of this. It's not even like she left her ID at home and just couldn't prove her citizenship. She had her ID in the car. And I'm not giving them my ID. Why? Why? You want this to happen, that's why. This is your goal, obviously. I just don't understand. You're either incredibly unintelligent or you want to make a scene. It's got to be one of the two. And I think we know which one it is. Actually, maybe we don't. She might be that stupid. It's possible. But it's just ridiculous. So Trisha has again weighed in on this one. Let's see what she has to say. This is again the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Tricia McLaughlin. During a traffic stop, a U.S. citizen who was driving her illegal alien boyfriend's car, who has been arrested prior, refused to comply with law enforcement's repeated lawful orders to identify herself. She was removed from the vehicle and briefly held while her identity was confirmed. This is the consequences 101 of not complying with lawful orders. It's not difficult to just do it. To like, "Ma'am, can I please see your ID?" No, you can't see my ID. Do you want to be arrested? Like, you are now being given a lawful order to present your ID. Your ID is sitting right next to you, and you refuse for some reason, especially knowing that your boyfriend is an illegal immigrant. Are you trying to get him in trouble? Like, it's ridiculous. And they search her car and find her ID and say, "Oh, no, she's an American citizen. Here you go." Like, or are you afraid? Are you actually dumb enough to be afraid that you're going to be deported as an American citizen? Are you so intellectually compromised and brainwashed that you really believe these people are going to arrest you? Not even ICE, by the way. Customs and Border Patrol is going to arrest you as a legal citizen of the United States of America and deport you? Again, you have all the proof in the world that you need sitting right next to you in your purse that you're an American citizen, but you refuse to present it. And by the way, if you refuse to present it, they're going to detain you anyway. You're not achieving anything, right? It's either you can prove that you're an American citizen and at least risk that you might not get manhandled by Customs and Border Patrol. Here, I'm a U.S. citizen, here you go. Or you can just deny to show them, get roughed around and then detained, and then they find it anyway. And now you're free to go. Like, and honestly, this is like, she's resisting, and it could have been a lot worse if they wanted to be assholes about it. I mean, they probably could have charged her with something. It's just ridiculous. A Harvard professor has been deported. Eric Daughtry reported, update, ICE has arrested a Harvard professor after he refused to self-deport. Carlos Portugal Gouveia of Brazil reportedly fired a BB gun outside of a Boston synagogue before Yom Kippur. Then his visa got revoked 2 weeks later. Goodbye, send him back. Here's a photo of the guy. There he is right there. Looks like actually a well put together man. We got an article related to this from the New York Post. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Harvard law professor fired pellet gun near synagogue, said he was hunting rats, agrees to leave the U.S. per DHS. A Brazilian Harvard Law School professor who pleaded guilty last month to illegally firing an air rifle outside of a Boston area synagogue told the police that he was hunting rats. He has agreed to leave the U.S. following the arrest by Immigration and Customs Enforcement this week. Carlos Portugal Gouveia, 43, kind cop November 13th to a single charge of illegal use of his air rifle in connection with an October 2 incident outside of Brooklyn's Temple Beth Zion, which took place on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism. The scholar was arrested by ICE, Boston Law Enforcement and Removal Operations, ERO, Wednesday, and agreed to return to Brazil voluntarily to avoid deportation, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Quote, "It is a privilege to work and study in the United States, not a right," a DHS spokesperson, Tricia McLaughlin, said in a statement. She's great. I actually, her tweets are fantastic. She is doing an amazing job clearing up a lot of the misinformation that's spreading around the internet. "There is no room in the United States for brazen, violent acts of anti-Semitism like this. They are an affront to our core principles as a country and an unacceptable threat against law-abiding American citizens." Now, I don't know the context surrounding this firing the air rifle at the synagogue. I don't think there's a video. I haven't seen it. I think it probably could be the case that he was hunting rats. I mean, I don't know what kind of threats you're going to be making with an air rifle outside of a synagogue. It could be the case that that's what he's doing. Regardless, it seems like the firing of the air gun was illegal in the first place, which I don't even know if I agree with that law. But regardless, he was not deported. He agreed to voluntarily self-deport and is now gone. So there's that. We have a woman who was chased by ICE. This is going around social media. She was, violently chased by ICE. This is WWL TV, an ABC affiliate. "It is attempted kidnapping. A video obtained by CNN appears to show a masked federal agent chasing a woman who is reportedly a U.S.-born citizen back to her home in Marrero."
Leave me alone!
No, you're the one making a stand. We weren't even looking for you. So get over here. Why? So who are you looking for? This is a public area. Okay, what's your want? I don't want to speak to you. Well, I don't want to talk to you either. You're the one talking to me. You're leaving your freedom. Hispanic people against Hispanic, bro.
So, well, that's what happened there. And Homeland Security issued a statement on this. On December 4th, U.S. Border Patrol was conducting a targeted immigration enforcement operation against a criminal illegal alien who was previously charged with felony theft and convicted of illegal possession of stolen property. As the agents exited their vehicle, they encountered a female matching that description of the target. Agents identified themselves and ran the individual towards her residence. Agents immediately stopped upon reaching the property line, determined the individual in question was not the target, and all agents departed from the area. No arrests were made. Law enforcement agencies are not perfect, and what this is called is following a lead. But obviously, right now, ICE agents are very high profile. When people see them, they get scared, and riots oftentimes emerge. So it's difficult to deal with these situations in a lot of cases. And it looks like that's kind of what happened here. The White House is using Sabrina Carpenter again. So for those of you who don't know, Sabrina Carpenter came out and said that she didn't want the White House using her music for meme videos. And so the White House said, all right, Sabrina, we're not going to use your music. We're not going to use your music for meme videos. That doesn't mean we're not going to use your likeness. Here we go.
I think I might need to arrest someone for being too illegal.
Oh, well, I turned myself in.
You're under arrest.
You get the bag and fumble it, I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Straight off a lot, 300 cash, and the car came with a blood in it. Lil' mama of that.
So there you have it. Sabrina Carpenter owned. They didn't use her music. They didn't use her music. Let's just watch it again. It's so funny.
I think I I might need to arrest someone for being too illegal.
Oh, well, I turned myself in.
You're under arrest.
You get the bag and fumble it, I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Straight off the lot, put her in the cash, and the car came with a blood in it. Lil' mama of that.
They didn't use the music. They didn't use the music. Sabrina Carpenter is a famous singer whose songs were previously featured in White House meme videos. And she didn't like that very much, so now they're just using memes of her. Ilhan Omar is being accused of being involved in a massive fraud ring. Go figure. The Somali representative of the Somali dense community in Minnesota is now being accused of being involved in a fraud ring. Go figure. It's only the population of people that seem to commit and love fraud the most. You know, we have senior law enforcement officials literally saying these Somali gangs don't deal in narcotics, which is why they're hard to track. Instead, they put skimmers on credit card machines and organize and execute massive fraud rings to steal money from the American people. They come from their country that's poor and broken and a failed state to the United States so that they can steal our money. This is what Gunther Eagleman reported. Bombshell. Ilhan Omar is done. The rats are scattering and most of them are begging reporters to hear their stories. Whistleblowers now confirm that her campaign funneled a massive amount of money to her husband's firm, while Somali-linked networks in Minneapolis ran one of the biggest COVID relief fraud schemes in history. Hundreds of millions stolen. She knew, she benefited, she covered for them. This isn't community outreach, this is corruption on steroids. Let's watch this video from Fox News.
Investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
We've got an article I want to show you guys related to this exact topic. Omar allies tied to massive Minnesota COVID meal fraud scheme involving Somali community. Members of the inner circle of Representative Ilhan Omar, D. Minnesota, personally profited from the $1 billion welfare fraud scandal in her district that has placed her Somali constituency under a White House microscope. Omar held events at one of the restaurants named in the fraud. One of its now convicted owners, and had a staffer who was also convicted, the New York Post reported. Omar also introduced the legislation that led to $250 million being defrauded from federal child nutrition programs in COVID-19 aid, according to the newspaper. Around $250 million in state funds was distributed beginning in 2020 to provide meals to school children during the pandemic. However, the money was allegedly pocketed by Salim Ahmed Saeed, the co-owner of Safari Restaurant, where Omar held her 2018 congressional victory party. Saeed was convicted in March for his role in the scheme, with Justice Department stating that the funds intended to feed children were used to finance a lavish lifestyle. He spent much of the money on a $2 million Minneapolis mansion and a $9,000 per month shopping habit at Nordstrom, according to prosecutors. The free meals, how do you even spend $9,000 at Nordstrom a month? What are you buying at Nordstrom for $9,000 a month? That is insane. You buying the whole store? The free meals were made possible by the 2020 Meals Act, introduced by Omar and passed with bipartisan support, the Post said. Much of the funding was funneled through the now defunct nonprofit Feeding Our Future, according to the DOJ. Omar appeared in a video promoting the program. The Congresswoman has not been directly linked to the fraud. Fox News Digital has attempted to reach her office for comment. Quote, the alleged fraud scheme orchestrated by the Feeding Our Future is reprehensible. Using the guise of feeding children to funnel millions of dollars toward extravagant expenses is abhorrent, and anyone who participated in this scheme must be held accountable, Omar told local Minnesota news at the time. During an appearance on CNN this week, Omar was pressed to explain how fraud became so rampant within our state. Well, we know it's because it's a lot of Somalis. This is what they do. Quote, I think what happened is that, when these kind of new programs are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I think that a lot of the COVID programs were just set up. They were set up so quickly that a lot of guardrails did not get created. Right. Again, you have a routine fraud problem in your districts. How are you not monitoring money from programs that you helped pass? Especially related to feeding children. Now, there's a lot of contention with the existing Somali community in Minneapolis. Trump just revoked their federal protective status. You've got this. You've got people speaking out about the fraud issues in Minnesota. Not even just that one, but organized fraud and theft, etc. in Minnesota. And so Minneapolis's mayor, Jacob Frey, went to eat some food. I went to eat some Somali food. And I'll just let you go ahead and watch this and tell me what you're thinking of that lovely food. Oh, wow. It looks so good, man. He's like wincing in pain as he eats this. He's literally like wincing in pain. He's like pushing it around so it looks like he ate more than he did. Hey, whatever. Let's see what we got on the docket next. The J6 pipe bomber made his first appearance in court. DC pipe bomb suspect makes first court appearance. Family yells support. The man accused of planting pipe bombs near the Capitol appeared in a Washington courtroom, and emotional family members called out messages of support. I would not support my kid if he did this. Brian Cole Jr., the Virginia man accused of placing pipe bombs outside the Republican National Committee and Democrat National Committee building in Washington, D.C. in January 2021, made his first appearance in federal court on Friday as his family yelled support as he was let out. Cole, 30, was informed about the charges against him as he appeared before a judge in Washington. Government prosecutors told Magistrate Judge Maxilla Upadhyaya Cole spoke to law enforcement, that was just a lot, for over a few hours on Thursday, and they would provide a transcript of conversations to Cole's defense attorney, John Shorman, over the weekend. So this is the suspect right here. This is who he is. This is the guy that allegedly, they were trying to catch this guy for a long time, especially while Biden was president. This terrible Republican J6 Trump supporter who placed pipe bombs outside of both the Republican National Committee office and the Democrat National Committee office. And what's interesting is you've got Mehdi Hassan
Jelani
in 2022 talking about how the pipe bomber is free. And let's just listen to what he says. This is on MSNBC. He's talking about how this evil Republican pipe bomber is just still out there on the loose. Let's see what he has to say.
Jelani, you're a black man. I'm a Muslim. When you consider how black criminals and Muslim terrorists are treated, both by the legal system and by the media, and yet the January 6th pipe bomber who laid explosives in front of the RNC and DNC headquarters still walks free. We just learned today that then Vice President-elect Harris was inside the DNC when the bomb was found there. We still don't take domestic terrorism of the far-right white variety seriously in this country, do we?
No, we don't. We've seen
domestic terrorism of the far-right white variety. This is Mehdi Hassan and some random black guy talking about how terrible it is for black people. Whatever. Your pipe bomber is a black guy. And what's interesting is they're showing these images of the pipe bomber. I don't know if you noticed, but you can't tell what color he is. So they just assumed that it was a white guy. Check this out. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse. Because here we have Jake Tapper on CNN with a full image of the guy pulled up, still calling him white. Let's check it out.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device.
I'm sorry, Jake Tapper. What was that?
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs. White man from the
He has it pulled up on the screen. Oh wait, no, he doesn't. I'm an idiot. This is actually superimposed over here. But he's still calling it a 30-year-old white man, regardless. Why does everybody assume... I'm an idiot, sorry. Why does everybody assume that it's a white guy? Why is everybody assuming that it's a white guy, and what does that say about where we're at? And what does it say about the mainstream media and what they're trying to feed you, what they're trying to tell you, and what they're trying to make you think? Sorry about that, guys. I'm glad I caught the corner of it just over the CNN thing there. I would have actually thought that's what it was. But Nick Sorter posted this, and he said, WTF, CNN's Jake Tapper just went out of his way to lie and call the J6 pipe bomber a white man. CNN refused to show a picture of the alleged bomber, who is clearly a black man, so I overlaid a photo of him onto their clip. CNN can't help themselves but to push anti-white rhetoric. Why is Jake Tapper, again, let's listen to it.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is...
A 30-year-old white man. This is not an old clip. The one of Mehdi Hassan was an old clip where he was speculating that the D.C. pipe bomber was a white guy. Jake Tapper knows full well that it's a black guy. Why is he intentionally misinforming his audience and not showing a photo of the pipe bomber on the screen? He said his name. All it would take is a quick Google search to find out this guy's black. Why are you lying and saying that it's a white guy? They want you to hate white people. That's why. They want you to think that white people are all the problem and that people of color are never the problem. That's what they want you to think. It's disgusting, and it should be shamed. Speaking of racism, Nick Shirley was called racist for confronting the Canal Street vendors, the scammers. Nick Shirley tweeted, illegal migrants on Canal Street in New York City swarm me for calling them out for their illegal vending of counterfeit goods, marijuana, and drugs openly on the streets of New York City. They call me racist, white trash, and an illegal from Europe. We don't have to live like this. And if you're not subscribed to Nick already, make sure to go subscribe to Nick Shirley on YouTube. Let's check it out.
Look at all those bags. Here on Canal Street, the scammers don't even respect the police. Oh, what are you guys mad about? The scammers just recognized me.
He said he was upset about us doing our job.
So you can't be illegally vending though, all right? It's not. You never see me vending?
I don't sell. You're saying you don't sell? Are you kidding me? Look at all your friends out here. They're all sellers.
Who tell you to know that?
Do you know me? Look at all you guys.
You know me?
Yo, 6 feet.
I've seen you guys.
You're a seller? I saw you sell the same though, right? He's lying. He's lying.
I ain't lying. Look at all those bags and stuff. Look at all those bags. Look. You're the scammer. Why are you telling me to get that out of here? Why are you telling me to get that out of here? These aren't your streets.
You're making fun of him for being white.
Okay.
You're not. This guy's not American. There's no way.
Okay.
You from Europe. You from Europe.
Look at this guy. Now we got NYPD out here.
You don't know.
Call me white trash? Why am I white trash?
You're racist.
How am I racist?
You are racist. Why you racist, bro?
How am I racist?
He's doing, why are you racist? Why are you gay? Why are you racist? That guy's not American. So Trump has also been, or he's received this peace prize from FIFA at the World Cup draw. They played YMCA live for him as he received the medal. I wasn't even aware that this was like a thing. I think this is actually the first time they've given out this medal. But they gave it to Trump. Let's see, FIFA 2025. He's got this medal now. Somebody posted this. This is a funny meme. So that's what's going on there. I just thought it was a funny story. I wanted to show you guys. This is kind of disgusting. Something I wanted to show you guys here. This is a transgender gender reveal for a baby that hasn't been born yet. I'm just going to say preemptively, CPS should be called on this family before the child is even born.
I'm your gunkle, and I think you're gonna be a little Vimy.
I'm your mom's ex-situationship, and I don't care what you are as long as you're transgender.
I'm your auntie on your mommy's side, and I just hope that you can pay for my gastric bypass surgery when I'm 60.
I'm going to be your new friend when you get older, and I think that you're going to be trans.
I was supposed to be your baby daddy, and I think I'm gonna turn you into an alcoholic.
I'm going to turn you into an alcoholic?
And I think I'm gonna turn you into an alcoholic.
Hi, I'm your Aunt Bean on your mom's side, and I think I'm gonna find 2 emo boys kissing in your search history.
So I'm like your great aunt or grandma or something, but just know that I'm gonna come get you. Days are born, so you better run.
I'm your uncle, and I'm gonna teach you how to smoke cigarettes.
I'm your mom, and I got so mad that you were a boy that I beat the fuck out of the cake. And you're grounded.
What is wrong with people? Like, we are living in a society that is so mentally ill, it's not even funny. We are living in a society of crazy people. Some people might say it's not real, it's staged, it's fake, whatever. Like, yeah, but if you were going to stage this, like, there'd be a funny joke, but it's not. Nothing in there was funny. Like, nothing. I don't even think transgender people would think this is funny. There's nothing funny about it. It's cringy. You're joking about child abuse. It's not funny. Like, I don't think anyone like, it's not even, a joke about children and cigarettes could be funny. Maybe in some world, right? But nobody executed a funny joke in there. It was all cringy. We're going down a dark path, ladies and gentlemen. Megyn Kelly interviewed Kash Patel on her show today. She asked him about the Charlie Kirk assassination, if he believes that it was, in fact, Tyler Robinson, and also about Candace Owens and the French plot to assassinate her, or the alleged French plot to assassinate her.
Yes.
Let me start with this, the most obvious. Do you believe that we have the proper suspect in custody? Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is, in fact, the man who killed Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Do you believe he acted with the help of anyone else?
This investigation is being led by the Utah state authorities because it is a murder investigation. So the FBI is a supporting role in the investigative process. And so what we're doing is the same thing we did in the pipe bomb investigation. The investigation is ongoing for us. If there's any new leads or tips, we are exhausting them with search warrants and legal process. But at the same time, we are working with the prosecutors in Utah to make sure we don't screw up their investigation. Because again, the worst outcome would be if the guy that killed Charlie Kirk walks out of a United States courtroom in the state of Utah. And so it's a delicate balance again, but there is no way this FBI is going to stop that investigation until it reaches its all-conclusive endpoint.
Do you believe any foreign government had a role in his assassination?
At this time, the FBI doesn't have credible information to connect any foreign governments to it. But as I said, we are continuing to take investigative leads. We're not done.
So notice how Kash answered that question. At this time, the FBI doesn't have any leads that connect a foreign government to Charlie Kirk's assassination?
Because we arrest someone, just like in the pipe bomber case. We don't just say, okay, we're done, on to the next. The investigative team continues to work with the Utah authorities, and they're deriving their own leads and coming back to us and say, hey, can you look at this piece of information? Can we get a search warrant on this account? What about this individual who is located in X, Y, or Z? We're tracking all that down.
I think there's some groypers in the chat talking about Nick eating my lunch or something. No, actually, Nick has me blocked, by the way, on Twitter. But I actually agree with a lot of the stuff. I actually realized that he still had me blocked today because I was going to comment agreement with him on one of his posts related to the Candace thing because he's been absolutely smoking her. But he has me blocked. We'll continue this cash interview in a second. I just want to show you guys this. Badge of honor. Cover my face so you guys can see it. Total badge of honor. But I actually agree with him on the Candace stuff. So I was actually going to comment something positive today, and I couldn't because he blocked me.
Do you have any credible reason to believe that anyone connected with the Turning Point organization had anything to do with Charlie's death?
0.
On the subject, there's been an allegation made by prominent podcaster Candace Owens that she's received a death threat, a credible death threat from the French, that a threat has been made on her life, and that the French, she's been told, also may have had a role in Charlie's assassination. Have you looked into either of those? Do you believe she's received a credible death threat from the French, or that the French had something potentially to do with Charlie's death?
Any American that receives a death threat from overseas or anywhere in America is going to be fully investigated. So we're not going to turn our eye away from that investigation or any others. If there's anything to it, this FBI will respond to it.
Okay, but so far, no.
So we are just looking at everything that comes in. We're not going to reject any piece of information. If someone feels that their life is being threatened, we are, of course, looking at it.
Is there any evidence that it exists at this time? That's what we want to know.
I can verify that
and I feel that this is a botched answer.
Myself, because we've received some very dark things here at our show, and you guys have always been very responsive in looking hard at the people who send them. Can I ask you, Cash, the text messages between Tyler Robinson...
All we want to know is there any evidence of a French plot to assassinate Candace Owens? We already know that the Pentagon, or at least the Pentagon press secretary, is not aware of it. It doesn't seem like Kash Patel is aware of any plot, or he probably would have said, we're investigating it, we're looking into it. So there's some other stuff I want to talk about too. I want to talk about this whole thing with Turning Point and Candace, and now Candace is saying, well, they never told me that I had to do it in person. They never told me that I would have to do it in person, whatever. And she's dodging Turning Point and making it seem as though they're dodging her, which is not the case. Let's pull it up. I've got a screen recording of the segment from today that she did, where she actually just straight up quotes them exactly and contradicts herself on accident, doesn't realize it. This is how good that she is at lying, is that Candace can lie to her audience, pull a direct quote that disproves her, and then lie about what she just read you, and somehow her watchers believe her. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
Streaming an event is that it invites everybody to be able to attend. So when you extend an invitation live streaming and you don't explicitly say it must be in person, why would I assume that you're going to rescind the offer if I say that I can appear via live stream? Okay? They never said that.
So she's assuming that they never said that they wanted her to do it in person. That's what she's asserting here.
They made the offer and they were pretending that they were being sincere. They never made in person a point of their demands.
They never made in person a part of their demands.
They never
just remember.
Also said that I had to respond within 24 hours.
No, that was you who said respond within 24 hours. Because it was, in fact, Candace Owens who said, let's do it tomorrow. Not Blake Neff. It was Candace Owens who said that.
It's a hostage situation, okay?
A hostage situation?
There's no way that I could have accommodated all of that.
There's no way that you could have accommodated. There's no way that you could have accommodated saying yes within 24 hours. But you yourself literally said anywhere, anytime, any place. Let's do tomorrow. That's what you said yesterday. And now you're saying, there was just no way I could have accommodated that, possibly. Oh my God. What?
A million years, 24 hours to respond. How about, let me see if I can make that work. Even if I could have made it work, which I couldn't have, because my husband instantly said, no, you cannot do this Monday. And he runs the household, and he has an important thing going on that day, which involves people that are coming in from overseas. But even if I could have made that work, I would not have within 24 hours have confirmed to them if they had even sent me an email.
You literally said, let's do it tomorrow.
They have kids. I would have had organized things, and it would have just taken longer than 24 hours, and they knew that. What Blake did say verbatim,
she's about to read exactly what he said off of her teleprompter because she does her shows. My shows are not done on a teleprompter. Hers are. At least that's what it seems like, right? Let's check it out. I can tell when people are reading on a teleprompter. Go ahead. She's going to read it verbatim, word for word, what he said.
That day is, quote, here is what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here.
There will be a live stream here.
In Phoenix. So we're assuming
in Phoenix.
They're live streaming from Phoenix, where we address in a clear and comprehensive way.
Keep in mind, right now, all they're saying is we at Turning Point are going to do a live stream at our headquarters addressing what Candace is saying.
The claims and the accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio in Phoenix.
We would sincerely welcome her participation in that stream here at our studio in Phoenix. They explicitly asked you to do it in person if you were going to do it in person. In fact, they didn't even ask you to do it. They didn't ask you to do it at all. They just said, if Candace would like to come to our studio and do the live stream with us, she's welcome to come here. That's what they said. They said, we're doing this live stream for our purposes to address the lies and slander that Candace Owens has put against our people at Turning Point USA. Candace is welcome to join us at our studio, if she would like to. And Candace admits that. But watch this. She very craftily exactly regurgitates what Blake Neff said and then lies about what he said 2 seconds later. Let's watch.
Is available. We would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio in Phoenix.
At our studio.
Not a demand to be there, in person, live streams happening at your studio, and you said that this was a sincere request, then you went about it in the opposite manner, which is why it makes it really interesting.
It wasn't a demand in the first place. She says no demand to be at our studio. There was no demand in the first place. They're not demanding that you join them. They're not demanding anything of you, but they did invite you to be there at their studio. That's all. It's a live stream for their purposes that you are welcome to join at their studio if you would like. But then she says it was never a thing that I had to be there in person. But that's literally what the statement that you read said. She read it verbatim. It's exactly what Blake Neff said. She read it verbatim and then lied about it 2 seconds later. And somehow the people who subscribe to her and watch her regularly are dumb enough to believe that. I don't understand. She's a pathological liar. It's like just constant manipulation, twisting, and blatant lies with the evidence to the contrary right in front of you. It is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. Mind-blowingly stupid. So now, with that being said, we're going to go join Discord. Because as I said, we are going to open up these shows, especially when we're talking about contentious issues, for people to join and challenge me on my positions on different issues. Every show. This is something that I don't think anyone else does. We're going to do it. We did it last night. We're going to do it again. I'm going to Discord right now. The link to the Discord is in the description below. I just got to log into Discord real quick. Stop trying to deplatform people. I'm not trying to deplatform anybody. What are you talking about? She's the biggest podcast in the world. You think I'm gonna deplatform her? Really? Be for real. All right, I'm joining the stage now, so I'll need a... Let's see, where's the stage? Oh, the stage is already brought down. Okay. All right, I'm in the stage now. Test. I'm going to have to unplug my computer here. Let's see. So you guys won't be able to see it on stream, but you guys will be able to hear it. Let me just make sure I'm using the right microphone on here. Testing. Okay, everybody should be able to hear me now. Raise your hands if you'd like to ask me a question, and please, let's only do people who have disagreements with me. Cam, do you think they'll ever invite you to Fox ever again? Yeah, I do. I think they will, because they have already multiple times. Laura's invited me back. I've been on Trace Gallagher numerous times. I've been on other Fox programs repeatedly. Yeah. And by the way, why doesn't... Somebody said, I can't believe so many people think that Candace refused. Well, Candace did refuse. I mean, the reason they want her in person is because she has an entire team of producers that are going to be like feeding her information through her earpiece the whole time. They don't want Skylar talking in her ear using AI to make up shit in the background. Have you been on Louder with Crowder? I was supposed to go on Louder with Crowder a couple weeks ago, but I didn't have time. Okay, Sean K is here to ask some questions. We're going to let him up. What's up, Sean?
Hey, how's it going? So I just wanted to ask, do you really think that Candace is doing what she's doing for Charlie, or is she just sensationalizing everything and doing it for her own views?
I have no idea, and I don't even want to speculate on it. That's the difference between Candace and I, is I'm not going to speculate without evidence. Her frame of mind or anything like that. It could be that she's crazy. It could be that she thinks she's right. It could be some kind of postpartum psychosis. Who knows? But I'm not going to speculate on if she thinks she's telling the truth or she's not telling. She's intentionally lying or whatever, because I don't have evidence of any of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
No, that's all for now.
I appreciate it. Thank you for coming. And again, guys, the link to the Discord is in the description below. So anybody can just come join the stage, ask me questions. What's up, Selfish? What's your question?
Hey, what's up, Cam? So I feel like the Democratic Party, they don't have a real leader, right? And it's because it seems like that they're so scatterbrained. They don't really know which way to go. Do you think that people like Candace, Nick Fuentes, and others that have a strayation away from like MAGA, do you think that that's going to become a potential problem with the Republican Party?
Well, we are obviously experiencing divisions right now, that's for sure, and it's no secret. Is it a problem? Yeah. I think there's a lot of validity to what Tim Pool's been saying about the midterms, and I think it's also silly to say, oh, we don't care about getting people elected. Candace Owens built her platform on the issues that these people are running on, and she's now using it to spread like schizophrenic conspiracy theories. I think it's a little silly to just underestimate the effect that losing the midterms will have on the country. So.
And yeah, my last question is: do you think that there is a solution to this, separation of different people in the Republican Party that have, influence?
Yeah. I mean, I think the solution is just just combat it where it's at, make better arguments, and just let it peter out. I mean, eventually people are just going to realize that Candace is spewing nonsense, and she'll lose support. Nick, the difference between Candace and Nick is that Candace is not intelligent. Nick is. So he's able to more effectively and better make convincing arguments, whereas Candace makes very poor arguments that are generally irrelevant to the point she's attempting to create. So I think people will, more quickly see that with Candace than they will with Nick. but Nick is a little bit more fringe. I think his audience is also generally a lot younger, whereas Candace's audience is, I think, primarily made up of middle-aged white women. So I think that Nick's audience won't have as big of an effect anyway, just because I think a lot of them are underage in the first place. They think it's cool to be edgy, and a lot of people grow out of that phase anyway.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We got Sean coming in. What's up, Sean? You're muted. Just got to unmute that mic in the bottom. Sean, I can't hear you, man. Your mic is muted. There, I think you're unmuted.
Do you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
I just wanted to ask personally, has there any thing that, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with wording.
You're all good.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, I just wanted to ask, and I'm sorry if my wording's terrible.
You're fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about the whole situation with the border right now? Do you think there's anything that could be personally improved upon, or do you think it's all good?
Well, what do you mean by the border? Do you mean the physical border, or do you mean immigration in general?
Either or.
Well, I think we're moving in the right direction, especially with recent developments related to disallowing third worlders to immigrate to the United States. I think that's a move in the right direction. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to be executed, and if it's executed improperly and we still allow third worlders to come here, then I see that as a problem, and I think that we should pursue it further. That was one of my main contentions prior. I think that we are ramping up deportations and arrests at a rate that we haven't seen before, and we're going to ramp it up even more in January, according to Tom Homan, who says he's going to triple the deportation force in January. So I think we're moving in the right direction. There's always room for improvement, of course, but I think for now we're doing pretty good. Yeah, I would like to see like a total hiatus on immigration, but
sorry.
Go ahead. You're good.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. We don't have anybody else in the requests right now. We got somebody hashtag me too. Who's that?
This is Mark.
What's up, Mark?
Okay, so serious question. With Jake Lang's event next week,
mm-hmm.
Given the coverage that it's received and how it was so planned out, what do you think the likelihood of danger is from someone who, an extremist that might attend after seeing content of Jake, disrespecting, slapping people with bacon, whatever? Like, what do you think the danger factor is for this event as opposed to some of the pop-up ones that had less planning in the past?
Well, considering law enforcement in Texas is a lot more serious, I think that it will be escalated because people know who Jake is now. But I also think that it will be mitigated by the fact that Texas law enforcement does a lot better job than law enforcement in Dearborn, who did virtually nothing about blatant and brazen attacks on individuals at that thing, including journalists and protesters alike. So I think that it would be a little bit more high profile, but probably a little safer because of law enforcement presence.
Okay, you think it would be safer, so you would have no qualms about anyone attending.
I mean, there's always danger. There's always a degree.
Well, there's going to be inherent risk.
Yeah.
But you don't think there's going to be some sort of actual, someone trying to martyr themselves or go out,
No, I mean, I think that
make a headline.
I think that Texas law enforcement does a lot better of a job. So I think that the risk is like, if I was looking at this from like a risk assessment position, I would think that the risk is a lot lower in Texas. But there's always, you never know what people are going to do. It takes 2 seconds to pull a trigger and kill somebody before law enforcement have even seen you. So yeah, there's always that risk. But I would generally think that it'd probably be a little bit safer.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, sir.
Yep. See you, Mark. We got nobody else in the box. talk with chat for a second and see if anybody else comes. If nobody comes in a little bit here, we'll end the live, and I'll go down and hang out with my girlfriend. Brett, call in if you're mad, man. The link to the Discord is in the description below. All right, we got some people who have questions. We got the Bog Witch. Hi, how's it going?
I'm wanting to ask if you could possibly link your interview with the gentlemen that were arrested. I went into your arrested down in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
I went into your video history and I could not find it. It was I do believe it was a live stream.
Yeah, I make a lot of content. I could maybe just watch YouTube chat. If I have a mod in there right now, could we pull a link for that interview and post it in chat? If not, I could repost it on like YouTube community after the live. For those who don't know, she's talking about there was I believe 3 gentlemen that were arrested down in at the University of Southern Florida for heckling a Muslim prayer in a public parking garage on a public university, and they're now facing felony hate crime charges. They haven't been formally charged yet, but the university wants them charged formally with federal felony hate crime, just for speech. So,
and it was carefully laid out. That video was very, very concise. It was carefully laid out how CARE, the Council for Islamic American Relations, are really the ones who are pushing this kind of rhetoric. People need to understand how dangerous this lobbying group is.
Yeah, totally.
They are getting into our universities and they are pushing curriculums that are essentially conditioning young American minds to accept a totalitarian ideology that it links right up with Marxism.
Yeah, totally.
So that's a very, very important video. I've been trying to push it on X. I've been trying to get some kind of response from our legislator and our governor, and they are just eerily radio silent on the whole thing.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I appreciate that. I will. I'll find that. I'll pull it, and I'll see if I can get it on YouTube community, so you guys can find it a little bit more easily.
Yeah, a lot of people would really, really appreciate this. This whole Islamic threat is a 2-pronged attack.
Yeah.
First, we have to take into consideration the kinetic threat, which is how many people have come into America who actually are willing to, detonate a bomb, cause a mass shooting, destroy our logistical network. And then there is the ideological approach, which is happening in our university systems and public school systems.
Yeah, I'll check it out and I'll find it. And I agree with you. It was a great interview, so I definitely like to push a little bit more. I got a couple other people in the box, so I appreciate you coming up. And
thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go with God.
Thank you. You as well. Okay, we've got another person. How's it going? Hello? Hello, DS, the Hoss. Are you there? Hello?
Oh, hey. Hey, what's up, boss? I was on push to talk. I forgot.
No worries.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, bouncing back to this Candace thing, I was just kind of curious. Have you actually seen any of her videos in full regarding her quote-unquote investigation on, Charlie's execution?
I've watched some of it here and there. My girlfriend's watched more than I have. She used to be a regular Candace watcher. I don't spend a lot of time paying attention to that, nor do I really take stock in it, and nor was that ever my contention with her. All I did was ask about this alleged plot to assassinate her from the French government at the Pentagon, and then she decided to start spreading a bunch of lies about me, and so I responded to them.
Right, gotcha. And that totally makes sense. I was just kind of curious, had you actually seen any of those videos? Because there are some questions that kind of comes up, and I don't know if you know anything about the Egyptian planes and all that stuff.
I've heard about it.
I mean, I know you don't want to speculate, but I mean, do you 100% buy the FBI's story at this point?
I mean, I think there are some inconsistencies, and I think that there are a lot of things that we don't know, but as is typical for a murder investigation, right? I'm not saying that there's not validity to some of her questions. I'm not saying that there's not validity to questioning the official narrative of the assassination in the first place, but this is typically how murder investigations go. I mean, you see it on TV all the time, right? I can't comment on an ongoing investigation, and this is exactly how investigations operate in the real world, because if we know something that implicates this person beyond a reasonable doubt, and we now go tell the public about it just so everybody's, knows and everybody can have peace of mind, somebody else now knows as well, and it's the defense attorney of the person that you're trying to put behind bars, which could potentially result in a person who's guilty of a murder that we all watch live streamed in 4K now walk out of a courtroom without serving any jail time, which is a problem. So you can't release that information before the person has been tried and convicted. That information usually comes out in and during the trial, which of course isn't ongoing at the time. So it's not surprising to me, even in the slightest, that we don't have all of the information right now. You never have all of the information.
Right. That totally makes sense. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
We'd love to do it again sometime.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good one. Okay, I've got another one.
Hi, Cam.
Hi, how's it going?
So, just real quick, not related to Candace. Oh God, I need to just settle a debate from before.
No worries.
There seems to be some confusion and uncertainty or whatever with what happened in Dearborn. So, from your stream material and whatnot, we only saw Jake pull out, the Quran and try to burn it once, and then he had the other one that he, slapped with bacon and whatnot. Somebody else is claiming that he tried to burn the Quran multiple times before you were maced.
No.
Is that true?
No, he didn't. Not that I saw, at least. I mean, I didn't see. I don't even think there was Qurans out at that point. So this is from my perspective. This is what happened. And of course, I've watched stuff afterwards. Remember when he was like pulling the Qurans out? I was incapacitated at that time because I'd been pepper sprayed, so I didn't physically see any of it. I saw footage afterwards. I could hear some of it, but so I was across the street. I get pepper sprayed, and then I get brought over to that bus. And as I'm being loaded up into that bus so that I can get water and treat myself for the pepper spray, I hear people start screaming, they pepper sprayed him, grab the Qurans, burn the Qurans, grab the Quran, stuff like that. And I think that's kind of, me getting pepper sprayed is kind of what sent them into a frenzy to start doing that. And as I was going up there, and even before the door closed, I could hear everyone outside just exploding. And as I was blinking, my head's cocked and I am pouring water into my eyes, and I'm blinking to wash them out. I can see mobs outside, like just moving with expediency all over the street, and people scuffling and fighting and stuff like that. But I never saw at any point before I got pepper sprayed that anybody even had a Quran in their hand. And I know that Jake attempted to burn one after, but they took the lighter or something, and then they ended up stealing the Quran from him. He pulled out another one and he slapped it with bacon. And then eventually they took that one from him as well. But no Quran was actually burned that day.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't think so. BP is down here saying that Jake did on a different day, and it's on social media. But
on a different day, he did. Yeah. The advertisement for his protest, he burned one in the video. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
there was he made an advertisement post for the protest where he's saying like everybody come out Dearborn this day, and in that video he burned I believe both a copy of the Quran and a Talmud.
Oh, okay. All right, interesting. Yeah. Still don't feel. I still believe, and I think you would agree that, I mean, it is within our constitutional rights to burn a Quran and a Bible and whatever, and not have violence inflicted on our person.
For sure. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
Yep.
And yeah. Okay. So, all right. Yeah. That was it. I won't waste your time with the other stuff. We could talk about that some other time.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks, dear.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got an honest guy wants to come up.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep. What's up?
More longly phrased question, but I've noticed with this sort of support, it seems that every single time an event happens,
support for what?
It seems to spike.
Wait, you cut out. Support for what?
Support for radical Islam.
Okay. Okay. So can you restate the whole question? Sorry, I'm just like trying to track what you're saying.
Well, it's going to be a more longly phrased question.
Yep. Sure.
What it is every single time that an event occurs, it seems that there's this heavy push on social media for radical Islam, even when the event makes Islam look bad. Like, for example, in Dearborn, Michigan, when Jake Lang was pretty much harassed and threatened by people, and when you were pepper sprayed, the sort of public response for that at first was kind of supportive towards him, but then it kind of shifted towards he's paid by Israel, and then you see those comments everywhere, right? And then, weirdly enough, right after the 2 National Guardsmen were shot, I noticed another spike in support, and after those 3 men were arrested for against the Quran, it seems as though everybody, like, kind of, like, every single time there's an event that happens where it's like, clearly the people who are against are in the right and the Islamic extremists are in the wrong. Everybody on social media seems to be defending this. Now we know.
I think I lost you. You're cutting out a little bit.
Did I cut out again there?
Yep.
Okay. Am I back yet? All right.
You're back.
So what I'm trying to say is, we know that these, are representative of how a lot of people in society. Oh my god, dude! Yeah. I could tell because like the thing turns green and it stops turning green.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm in my dorm, so the Wi-Fi is really shit.
You're good. You're good. I can kind of expound on what you've said so far. I think it's carefully orchestrated propaganda campaigns. Like you see a lot of this, especially after the Dearborn thing, saying that. And listen, I don't agree with Jake Lang's methods, but I mean, he didn't touch anybody. He didn't do anything violent, and so you see these carefully orchestrated sort of propaganda campaigns to convince everybody that he's a Jew or he's like, some kind of Israeli psyop or whatever, and that seems to come from people like Jake Shields primarily, who are just like extremely pro-Muslim, regularly meet with people and care, and radically hate Israel. And so it's like they've chosen like shilling for Muslims to own the Jews, and it's not coming from any place of intellect. It's just, I hate Israel, and therefore I must support all Muslims because Muslims don't like Israel and, take their side on everything. And it seeps into things that have nothing to do with Israel, like the Dearborn event, which had literally, I mean, Jake Lang burned the Talmud in his advertisement video for that protest. And also he's planning a march on AIPAC, the AIPAC headquarters. So like Jake is no like, and even when we were in the city hall, they're like looking at the court, I don't know what you call him, like stenographer or whatever, the guy who's like keeping the schedule for the event at City Hall, and they're like Jew, and they're like calling him a Jew and stuff, and it's like obviously they don't like Jews. So I don't know, like I don't know what Jake Shields' big deal is, and it comes from these people like Suleiman Ahmed, who's of course friends with Jake Shields, and he's a Muslim, and Myron Gaines, who's also a Muslim, and we've kind of allowed the right-wing space to be co-opted by Muslims or like radically pro-Muslim people that capitulate to them, like Jake Shields, Myron Gaines, also known as Amaru Fadul, who is a Muslim, Suleiman Ahmed, who is a Muslim, and they just kind of like take over and hijack the narrative to make Muslims look better, but we've allowed them to co-opt it. And I think that's a big part of the issue. And they've branded themselves as like, anti-Israel conservatives, so they've co-opted that audience that pretty much just gobbles up whatever they say. And so they use that to defend Muslims. Even when they're in the wrong, as you said. You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, you can.
Yep, I can hear you.
I want to ask, do you think there's going to be like a sort of, at some point in time, like a sort of resurgence against these ideas? Kind of like in 2023 when we saw, for a while, it seemed like everybody seemed to support this idea of like trans kids, and then it led to a whole resurgence both on social media and real life of people start LGBT, something like that against radical Islam, or do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think it's like this?
Well, I think a lot of these people's supporters too are like bots, right? I mean, if you go like when they're coming over to my stuff, what they do is like Myron's people come over to my stuff, and Jake's people come over to my stuff, and Suleiman Ahmed's people come over to my stuff, and they plaster stuff in my comment sections, and it's like just look at their accounts, and they're like in Pakistan. It's like these people aren't even American citizens. So what does the overwhelming body of American citizens actually support or agree with? And it's probably not that. What they're attempting to do is like use these bots to convince everybody else that everyone else is against them. If they hold a belief that's opposite of what they're saying and they're like anti-radical Islam, they're trying to convince everybody else that no, like it's totally cool, bro. Like these Muslims, it's actually the Jews' fault, and the Muslims that are punching people in the face and pepper spraying journalists, they're actually the good guys. And then the people are like, oh, why is everybody against me, right? So it's that kind of thing. And they use these botted accounts to do that. Just literally look at the locations of the X accounts. They're not in the United States most of the time. I think I'm losing you again. Well, I hope that answered your question. We have a couple other people waiting to come up, so I want to make sure that I bring them up. How's it going?
Hey, Dr. Bed, can you hear me all right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, cool. All right. Sorry to change the topic for a little bit, but I want to talk about like abortion and stuff. Like, so science has come to a point where we can almost predict the state of a newborn baby, and obviously its entire life based on, just ultrasounds and science. Now, I know it's sad to say this, but like it's sad to see a child grow up and not be able to experience life to the fullest, like get a job, drive a car, travel, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And like I'm a bit nervous right now because I've been waiting for so long, but
no, you're good.
Like I know that you're against abortion, like you're definitely against abortion, and I'm a male, so I'm not like, this has got nothing to do with me, but like I do believe that abortion is right in some ways. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be.
In what ways? How?
Well, like, for example, I've seen a lot of things. That YouTube channel, Special Books by Special Kids? Nope. You see a lot of children on there, and it's like they should not exist. They should not have been born.
Why shouldn't they exist?
We had the opportunity. Yeah, I'll let you speak.
Why shouldn't they exist?
Because they are just a wreck. They're just a mess. They are just a complete. They're just too far gone. I mean, like, they're breathing. Yeah, they can eat. Yeah, they can feel pain and they can laugh.
What if I said, well, you're nervous to come up on a Discord call right now. Maybe you shouldn't exist. You're like out of breath up here on the stage. Maybe you shouldn't exist. You're a wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's for me. I don't think it's for me to decide your quality of life and whether or not you should be alive. I can't kill you because I have passed judgment on you that you're a wreck, And therefore, I don't think that you or I can do the same. I think the only person that should be able to decide whether or not somebody lives or dies is that individual.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I'm just not talking about autistic people. I'm talking about people like that can't even walk, can't even talk,
Yeah, I don't
can't
care.
even think.
Yeah. So, I mean, what if a veteran gets all this? So if one of my American brothers and sisters goes overseas and gets their legs blown off, is that person now not deserving of life because they've sacrificed their legs for their country? Can we kill them now?
They still have a conscious, and they can.
So hey, man,
make a decision
mentally and physically
themselves.
disabled people are also still conscious. If you are alive, you are conscious. You cannot survive without consciousness. So everyone who is
But
alive
not if
is
you're
conscious.
brain dead. Not if you're brain dead.
Well, if you're brain dead, you're dead. Okay, like you're not.
No. Like you can be your body can be alive, but you can be brain dead, and that's what I think a lot of babies.
Wait. This is just a silly argument because cells in your body after you die are still alive as well. Like after you're fully dead, and your brain is dead, and your heart is not beating, many of the cells in your body are still alive, but you are physically dead. You are medically dead. In this case, where you are brain dead and your body will never be operated by your brain again, you are medically dead. Okay, and so I support pulling the thing there, but you're not going to be alive in any meaningful way without consciousness. There's mentally and physically disabled people are not unconscious.
All right, next caller. Chat wants next caller. All right, okay. So thank you for talking. Bye.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one. Be safe. Hi, how's it going, Amy? You there, Amy? I think you're muted. You just have to hit the unmute button in the bottom.
Jeez. Okay. This is my first time ever speaking, so I apologize.
No worries. You're
for
good.
that. And my husband is laughing at me. I'm probably the oldest person on here.
No.
No, really. But I've seen you go out and speak to a lot of people. And I have watched you over the months, and I will say you have grown a lot. So that is a compliment to you.
Thank you.
And just so you know that I am a mother of a child that has been lost to fentanyl. I lost my 21-year-old daughter to fentanyl back in December of 2022. It was my daughter's choice to take fentanyl, although it wasn't her choice due to mental health and some other things.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But thank you. And yes, I am fully reasonably minded about everything. I'm not one of those, my child was not at fault, damned with the seller. Even though I am damned with the seller, I'm not. Because he was a friend of my daughter's, and that's a whole nother story. However, let me get to my point. Again, I want to tell you, great job that you've been doing out there, speaking our truth, I believe. And again, I just wanted to tell you thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll let you go.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. And by the way, to the guy who came up and debated abortion, I see him in chat. No hard feelings, by the way. Like, I wasn't trying to make fun of you or anything like that. I was just trying to illustrate a point by using the fact that you're nervous. It's nerve-wracking to come up on something like this. I mean, we got 557 people watching. Usually it's more. Usually there's like well over 1,000 people in here. So it is nerve-wracking to come up here and talk. So I'm not trying to put you down for that. I was just using it as an argument. So don't take any offense there. It definitely wasn't intended that way. How's it going?
Good, you?
Good.
So, Cam, you've been to both Dearborn and to New York. What do you think is the peaceful solution for all of this that's going on?
Well, I've kind of talked about this a little bit. The number one thing is ending immigration from the third world, not allowing Muslims to continue infiltrating our country. That's number one. Or that's not even. There's four things. They're all equal. One is the immigration problem. Two is the problem that we're not producing enough babies and they're intentionally outpacing us. in birth rate. The mayor of Dearborn is intentionally paying mothers $4,500 over a duration of 6 months if they bear a new child. That's to, of course, incentivize Muslim childbearing. So we need to incentivize Americans to have more babies and stay married. We need to completely gut and rebuild our education system because our children are being indoctrinated and coming out as morons. And we need to ban abortion. What do those things achieve? We stop the infiltration. That's the immigration. We have more babies, and those babies are cared for. That's the incentivized childbearing and marriage. The babies are intelligent and educated. That's the education portion, of course. And abortion goes back to Americans having more babies. I think those 4 things will solve a lot of the problem that we're currently dealing with. So I think they're the 4 most important things that we could do.
I know I'd heard you say that before. I just wanted to hear you say it again and to like get more ideas on that out rather than just people focusing on the negative.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we got one more person, guys, and then we'll probably end the live if nobody else comes. How's it going, Sean? You're muted.
All right, you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so what is it? I'm trying to think of the words. I'm sorry.
You're good.
What are your thoughts on this? On exactly like how Tom Holland is approaching the situation. Do you think there's anything he can improve about what he's doing?
Well, there's always room for improvement, but I think that Tom Homan is doing a relatively good job. It's not just up to Tom, but I think that so far he's done a pretty competent job. Yeah, there's always obviously room for improvement.
Yeah, and how do you expect the change between?
I'm sorry, you're really muffled. What was that?
I'm driving. I'm sorry.
You're good.
You know what? I'll cut out here because I need to formulate better. So I'll let go. I don't want to waste anyone's time.
Cool. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, with that, we'll wrap up the live for today. Make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description below. We're going to do that in every stream where we join Discord and allow people to come question me and challenge me on my positions and things that I've said in the show. If anybody has contention. So make sure to join the Discord. The link's in the description below. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. Comment what you thought of this down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. We'll be live again tomorrow at 5.